Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode on the Crazy Crime Channel, where we break down some of the most insane true crime stories. We got some crazy stories for you today, but before we get started, I want to welcome back Janice from her tour of haunted locations.
Thanks, Denise. It was a truly great experience. I did a little ghost hunting, caught some really intriguing pieces of evidence, and we'll go over that in another episode though.
Oh, I cannot wait. Getting back to our topic today, we start off with a bloody case. In 2005, authorities were contacted about multiple deaths that occurred during a party in a castle in Denmark. Eyewitnesses say during a duel, one of the ladies of the court died suddenly of no apparent injury. One of the duelers was upset by this and proceeded to force another man there to drink a goblet of wine.
Why would he do that? When someone I care about dies, I don't just grab the nearest dude and waterboard him.
Well, the death of the woman was determined to be poisoned, so allegedly the wine that was, poisoned.
Well, that seems worse. Why would you poison a dude after drowning him?
I'm getting to that, but other stuff went down too.
There's more?
Yes. The second dueler died of a stab wound.
That's not exactly uncommon. It was a sword fight.
But it only added to the pile of bodies. The first dueler then proceeded to die of a stab wound.
Well, again, it's a duel.
But later investigation revealed that both duelers had been stabbed by a sword coated in poison.
Why did this party have so much poison? Was Poison Ivy there? Sorry.
The big plot twist, though, this type of poison was later connected to a cold case about the suspicious death of the past owner of the castle, who happened to be the father of the first dueler.
What?
Yeah. The police believed the setup was an act of revenge that they later discovered the man who was drowned to be the uncle of the first dueler. Bystanders recall his last words being a confession to killing the dueler's father. Looking back on old reports, the dueler had tried to turn in but was turned away due to his history of insanity.
Okay, so let me get this straight. The dude, his dad dies. Okay, he tries to tell the police to ignore him. He then kills his uncle, who apparently killed his dad, and then he dies himself.
Yep, and killed two other people along the way.
He sucks at revenge.
Sometimes emotions cloud our judgments, and we want revenge even if it doesn't seem ethical.
Bro straight up murdered a dude by drowning him and poisoning him. Ethics got defenestrated a long time ago.
Oh, big word.
Thanks, it was my word of the week.
Up next, we have a lottery you don't want to win, but first, a word from our sponsor.
This summer, watch The Quest for Love takes a different turn.
Look, I know I'm not the greatest guy. This really isn't my best side, and don't get me started on my portraits, but I have a really good heart, and I think the princess and I are meant for each other. We really click.
Yeah, I mean, being a princess, you gotta be saved, but it's hard for a girl to be so sure if she wants to be rescued. I mean, I quite took to the dragon. So nicely physical, with his claws and lovely green skin, and that sexy tail.
Obviously, the princess is falling for me hard. Who wouldn't? My horse is the latest model, my spear, custom made. My armor is still unreleased to the public. You can't do better than me. Will this be a fairy tale ending? Or will it be the underdog tale of the season? Happily Ever After, out now on TLC Network.
Isn't that bestiality?
Our next story takes place in a small Midwestern town in Kansas. Every year on June 27th, a local lottery is held.
Oh, I love gambling, but the pot doesn't seem that big in such a small town.
Well, the good news is everyone gets to play, but I wouldn't gamble on this one. It seems like a normal drawing, but the price is death.
Score. I've been living in the wrong town.
Considered to be one of the longest running cults in America, this town saw over 250 deaths, with many more speculated.
Wow, cult in the Midwest? Who would have guessed?
Oh there, Dr. Seuss. It was one of the better hidden ones, considering it was only uncovered in 2014 when a member escaped to report it to local authorities. Years of recorded deaths were found, and the town leader was arrested on multiple counts of murder charges.
So you're saying this town just straight up murdered people since before the U.S. was even a country?
Yep.
That's messed up. Why would they even do that?
Well, experts believe it is a power play for the leaders, but it was justified as an idolic sacrifice to the general group. It really reflects the human capacity for violence, especially when they appeal to traditional or social orders, because they found that good things happen. So then the general group concludes that as a higher power was appeased, then it must be a good act.
We gotta kill somebody on this specific date every year to make gods happy. Yeah, sure seems legit.
To be fair, it was a very isolated town, so it probably seemed like they were all alone, with the town being their only haven.
I won't fall for it.
That's what I all say, but remember the red Kool-Aid? Before we get to our last story, I have a question. If you could change your name to any name, what would you change it?
That's a great question. I would change my name to Beth.
Questionable choice aside, but our sponsor in this episode could help you make that name a reality. St. Augustine's Church is now performing christenings. If you've never had your name legally recognized by the church, you can now choose the name that you want.
My friend Jack switched his name to Ernest, and it helped him find true love. And, weirdly enough, his real family.
Wow, that is weird. Tell them Janice and Denise sent you and enjoy your new identity.
Moving on.
Moving on to our last story. An asylum in Oregon was shut down due to the cruel treatment of its patients. This hospital primarily housed women with debilitating mental disabilities such as anxiety or postpartum depression. This asylum used the controversial rest cure. The patients were isolated from each other and not allowed to do much of anything.
That sounds great.
It was not great. This hospital had a record number of suicides as patients suffered from hallucinations and many went insane. To this day, many of the rooms have torn wallpaper and scratch marks from the previous occupants. Visitors report experiencing cold spots or the feeling of being touched. Some claim to have seen figures coming out of the walls.
Of course they went crazy. They seriously went, keep her in a room with nothing to do, and they'll call her even crazier when she sees things and making things up. I would go insane too and rip all the wallpaper off. It was probably ugly anyways.
Well, the rest cure was considered to be groundbreaking at the time and used in many practices despite its obvious ill effects. The asylum was shut down in 1929 due to a lack of funding.
Well, probably because the government realized that it was a bad idea.
Whatever the reason, it will stand as a changing point where the rest cure was retired in favor for more beneficial treatments, like lobotomies.
Okay, well, I'm creeped out.
And we're out of time. Tune in next week as we review evidence Janice found on her ghost hunting tour and go over the real-life facts of the so-called paranormal activities. Has Janice lost her mind, or do we really see ghosts?
Hey, the doctor said I was completely fine.